Good morning. A couple of weeks ago, we have been in court. And the High Court, is handling a very sensitive case. A case that can determine whether somebody would be hanged by the neck until he's dead, over flimsy, frivolous, trumped-up charges. That is the case against Dr. Besigye, our leader, and the Obeid, who have been incarcerated in prison for the last 1.5 years and are still incarcerated in prison. You will remember that the state had not disclosed and had chosen not to disclose the identities of their witnesses. They recently released the document in which says that they disclosed those witnesses. And after waiting for a very long time in courts and languishing in prison, the Justice Baguma, Emmanuel Baguma, sought that his justice and to hurry the case was to give the accused only 1 week to prepare their defense of documents with about 2,000 pages. Not only that, with electronic evidence, in audio evidence, which could be of about 12 hours, including video evidence, and without providing space for the accused to study carefully the prosecution evidence so that they can prepare their own defense. That is the Justice Baguma. Not only that, Uganda has witnessed Justice Baguma behaving like a prosecutor himself. As we were growing up, we used to see justices of High Court putting on robes and wigs, not just to frighten the citizens under their adjudication, but as a symbol of maturity, and mature people must be fair and above petty differences. And a judge, once appointed, has security of tenure of office, and therefore is not threatened by the state. It is on that background that we thought that judges should be fair, should behave like mature people. The wig is white to depict an old man, a man who is able to judge above petty differences. Just like you see His Excellency the Ambassador Bayiga, who has gray hair and is above those kind of petty problems that would bedevil those so-called cadres who are putting on wigs. They put on wigs to mimic an old man, but they don't behave like old men, senior citizens. The purpose of our press conference today is to let Ugandans know that we are petitioning against this man called Baguma Emmanuel Baguma, who is presiding over the case that is sensitive and of which the sentence is a death sentence. We have been observing a man presiding over this case as a prosecutor at the same time as a judge. A man who depicts a person with personal vendetta against the accused, as if they wronged him personally. A man who exhibits anger against the defense lawyers and backs at them as if they are his children. These days even children can prosecute their dad if at all you just back at them. So this is a man whose demeanor depicts a man who has already got a verdict and is simply working towards it. And we have already expressed our displeasure about him, and in fact the accused wanted him to count himself out of the case. He simply stuck on. We have been listening to the world after a few days ago when he walked out on the accused's message. Without adjourning, he just walked out of court with a lot of anger against Dr. Besigye and the rest of the accused. So this gentleman, or man, well, I don't have evidence if it's one, carries himself like a person who has already been told what to do, and is unlike the judges that we ever read about. Our petition will go to the Judicial Service Commission. The Judicial Service Commission, which vets and employs these judges. Our petition will go to the Chief Justice. Under his guide, this guy's work. It will also go to the Minister for Justice. It will also go to the person who vets these judges and positions them. Parliament of Uganda. It will also go to the Attorney General. It will also go to the public. And it is going to be signed by 1 million people. And not only the PFF members concerned, but the wider community. Our Deputy Leader, Ambassador Binigwa, will lead us in signing this petition and also taking it to the rest of the country to ensure that all 1 million people can sign this petition. It's not about Dr. Kizza Besigye, it's not about Obeid, it's about us. Dr. Kizza Besigye and Obeid Lutale have sacrificed themselves, and they are willing to die only if justice can be made, and justice can be made to be seen to be done. They have been willing to be in prison as long as you don't have judges who behave like other judges, like the way you are seeing Justice Emmanuel Baguma. For your information, we have been also trying to cross-check about who these people are. Sometimes we hear they are other judges and we fail to check on their background. We have been asking people from where he claims to have been born. Who is this man? They don't know where he was born. We have also we have been trying to cross-check his education background and how he entered into the judicial system. The chairman of the Uganda Law Society says he's a plant. He was planted into the judicial system to destroy it. Nobody can tell you where he was born, who his parents are. Some of these people who have been planted in Uganda and also planted into the judicial system to destroy our country, we must rise up and tell them in the face that you are not worthy to serve us. Ugandans should know that the judicial power is derived from the people. Article 126(1) of the Constitution gives us this power, and it drives our mandate as citizens. That judicial power is derived from the people. and shall be exercised by the courts established under the Constitution in the name of the people and in conformity with the law and with the values, norms, and aspirations of the people. That is Article 126 of the Constitution of Uganda. This plainly means that the courts don't get power from the president or from parliament. Power comes from the citizens of Uganda. Therefore, judges must decide cases based on the law and what we Ugandans expect as fairness. Article 126(2) says the 5 principles that courts must follow when handling civil and criminal cases. And these include, but not limited to, the following: equality. No matter whether you are in government or you are outside government, you are a Muslim, Christian, or no religion, poor or rich, justice shall be done to all irrespective of social or economic status. That is what the Constitution says. 2b says, no delays. Justice shall never be delayed. And this is the gist of our petition. We are powered by the Constitution to say what we are saying, that Justice Baguma, while hearing the case of Uganda versus Dr. Kizza, Besigye and Obeid and others, has demonstrated a high degree of bias, allowed his own direction and orders to be disobeyed by the state attorneys without reprimand, and has caused unnecessary delays in hearing the case while refusing to hear the accused's applications, including the one for bail and the one for human rights enforcement miscellaneous application before him. This judge fails to understand how to properly proceed, even when he is guided by the laws, when the defense lawyers plainly bring them to his attention. Justice Baguma's demeanor is of a judge whose verdict has already been written and simply guiding himself towards that direction. He exhibits anger, I have already saw it so, and does not allow our lawyers to speak. He debates with them. What kind of judge is this who debates with lawyers? A judge must listen. We have seen this kind of judgment in LC courts in the medieval era. Those who back at the people who they are supposed to judge. We have not seen them among the people who are robbed and they have been gowned and also have a grey wig to depict their seriousness and maturity. This kind of demeanor is a demeanor of a magistrate, grade 1 or 2 or 3. The legal profession has been regimented to show that you can be a magistrate. From a magistrate, you go to chief magistrate, you can become a judge. But when you are a judge and then you carry yourself as a magistrate, grade 0, then you are not worthy to be, to carry a grey wig and a robe, a red robe, simply to intimidate us, the citizens, under whom your education should be useful. This judge who entertained the state's application for non-disclosure of witness identity for months, yet upon disclosure by the prosecution, he gives only 2 days the defense to study the prosecution evidence of over 2,000 pages and many hours of audio recorded evidence while in detention, and to come back to court to defend themselves in a case that carries a death sentence. What kind of man is this? His education is predetermined. His verdict is predetermined. He cannot dispense justice. And his background must be checked. He must be interrogated by the Judicial Service Commission. These are the guys who paint a picture of a state that is dim. So, our humble petitioner, who are going to be led by none other than a gray-haired gentleman, His Excellency Ambassador Bayiga, who was in court recently and wept when he saw a person who carries himself as a gray-haired man to behave the way he behaved. He is here to address you as our deputy leader, who is going to lead this.
Thank you, Dr. Lulume. I won't take that long, but just to say to you, first of all, thank you so much for coming at short notice, and I'm happy that you were able to make it, all of you. I've been in court since everything started, which is almost 2 years ago. And what we saw 2 days ago, it was terrible. Really terrible. I saw justice in Uganda die. I saw it die, and I felt so bad because I've lived enough to see how justice should be dispensed, especially in the High Court. But this gentleman, if I may call him that, Justice Baguma, it seems as if he does not care what the law says, does not care how the advocates who are supposed to defend our people, the behavior of Justice Baguma is truly despicable. We are here as citizens of this beautiful country, but truly sometimes we're in there and you just wonder, are these foreigners who are prosecuting us? Because if you have a heart, you have a family, you can't do what Justice Baguma did 2 days ago. This was mentioned 5 days that they gave us. It wasn't really exactly 5 days. In reality, only 2 days. Because if you remember, there were also days that we have had holidays. But worse still, even the permission they gave us was not honored by Luzira prisons. They were not able or didn't want to facilitate our lawyers so that they could see Dr. Kizza, Besigye and Obeid. They could not even facilitate a room, a private room, where they could sit in confidentiality and be able to discuss the case with Dr. Besigye and company. It just happens that the prison guard, just as we were in court this time around, they brought a letter which I guess read that they are permitted now to go. But mind you, it wasn't mentioned that they were allowed to go with equipment so that they could hear the tapes or see the videos. Now, how can our lawyers prepare to defend our people? And what's still, he even simply said, no, the trial starts tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're supposed to be in court, and they're going to bring their first witness. What country are we in? Is this the Uganda I grew up in? The Uganda I love? Ask yourself, why are we being treated like this? What's going on? What is going on to condemn a person, innocent person, and not even be allowed to say anything? You should have been there yesterday. Even doctor tried to speak, he would not be allowed to speak. And you walked out on him. How? And you call yourself a judge? Come on. Really? Anyway, as we are now today, we are embarking on a campaign to awaken all the citizens of this beautiful country, to raise up their voices, to do what you can to make sure that justice is done. Thank you.
PFF! Freedom Party! PFF!